In today's video, we'll be exploring 10 interesting facts about Afghanistan. Welcome back to FTD Facts. I'm Sarah Carvalho, and I'm super looking forward to taking you through today's facts. As you may have noticed with recent events going on around the globe right now, we have had a huge influx of requests for videos about Afghanistan. Now, you know we love to hear from you, and we are always happy to honor your video content requests, providing that they are topics that won't be censored or penalized by today's media outlets, YouTube in particular. Thankfully, it is with the support of our FTD Facts channel members that we are able to create the kind of content you want. So if you're interested in becoming a valued member of our FTD Facts family, stay tuned for more information about it later on in the video. But for now, let's get started with today's video. 10 interesting facts about Afghanistan. All right, let's get started by talking about the capital city. Kabul is the capital and largest city of Afghanistan. Located in the eastern section of the country, it is also a municipality forming part of the Greater Kabul province, and it's divided into 22 districts. According to estimates in 2021, the population of Kabul is around 4.6 million, and it serves as Afghanistan's political, cultural, and economical center. Surprisingly, rapid urbanization has made Kabul the world's 75th largest city. Kabul is located high up in a narrow valley between the Hindu Kush Mountains and bounded by the Kabul River, with an elevation of 1,790 meters, making it one of the highest capitals in the world. Now, this city is said to be over 3,500 years old, mentioned since at least the time of the Achaemenid Empire. Today, Kabul is known for its historical gardens, bazaars, and palaces. Some well-known examples being the Gardens of Babur and Darul Aman Palace. All right, let's talk a little bit about the country's main sources of income. The main source of income in the country is agriculture, and during its good years, Afghanistan produces enough food and product to provide for the people, as well as to create a surplus for export. The major food crops produced include corn, rice, barley, wheat, vegetables, fruits, and nuts. In Afghanistan, the industry is also based on agriculture and pastoral raw materials. The major industrial crops are cotton, tobacco, madar, castor beans, and sugar beets. Sheep farming is also extremely valuable. The major sheep product exports are wool and the highly prized Karakul sheepskins. Afghanistan is also a land that is rich in natural resources. There are numerous mineral and precious stone deposits, as well as natural gas and yet untapped petroleum stores. Some of these resources have been exploited, while others have remained relatively untouched. All right, have you ever heard of the country of the pomegranate? Afghanistan may be considered the country of the pomegranate fruit because of the excellent quality of the cultivars that thrive there. Afghanistan is a land for 48 leading world cultivars of pomegranate, commonly growing in Kandahar, Kapisa, Samangan, Farha, Nimroz, and Balkh provinces. The Kandahar province has historically widely been known as the main production area for its high quality and productivity. Interestingly, some leading botanists believe that Afghanistan is the cradle of world pomegranate production, and that it has more varieties of pomegranate trees than anywhere else in the world. In 2009, several 100,000 pomegranate trees were planted, and the nation exported some 50,000 tons of this delicious fruit. In 2010, Afghanistan began exporting the fruit to the French grocery store firm Carrefour in Dubai. This has created significant competition there among their Turkish and North African counterpart brands, as the Afghan product is said to be larger, redder, and juicier. So if you haven't done so already, try and get your hands on an Afghan pomegranate. All right, moving on to fact number 7, talking about New Year's celebration. Unlike many countries around the world who celebrate the New Year on January 1st, New Year in Afghanistan is celebrated on the 21st of March, and they call it Nowruz. It is a pre-Islamic festival for those of you who may not know. It is celebrated by the gathering of thousands of travelers from across Afghanistan to the city of Mazar-e-Sharif. During the first 40 days of the year, this is when it happens, when red tulips grow in the green plains and over the hills surrounding the city. Now, this location is home to a famous mosque in the center of the city. It is known as the Blue Mosque, or the Shrine of Hazrat Ali, who was the cousin and son-in-law of the Islamic prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. During the first 2 weeks of the new year, the citizens of Kabul hold family picnics in Istalif, Charakar, and other green places where redbud shrubs grow. You may also be surprised to hear that at one point between 1996 to 2001, Nowruz was banned and labeled as an ancient pagan holiday centered on fire worship. All right, Afghanistan is home to the world's largest Buddhas? Well, let's talk about that. Unfortunately, these amazing historical statues have been, for the most part, destroyed as of 2001. Prior to their recent destruction, the 6th to 7th century rock-carved Buddha sculptures in the Bamiyan Valley of central Afghanistan were considered the largest in the world. Known collectively as the Bamiyan Buddhas, the two monumental sculptures have amazed both Buddhist and non-Buddhist visitors for more than 1,000 years. Both images were carved into the cliffside in high relief. The area near the heads of both Buddha figures and the area around the larger Buddha's feet were carved in the round, allowing worshippers to circumambulate. Circumambulation, which is the act of walking around an object such as a stupa or a reliquary mound, or an image of the Buddha. It is a common practice in Buddhist worship. Like many of the world's great ancient monuments, little is known about who commissioned the Bamiyan Buddhas or the sculptors who carved them. However, their very existence points to the importance of the Buddhist faith and the Bamiyan Valley during this period. All right, friends, we've downed 5 facts. We've got 5 more to go, but before we do that, I wanted to give a shout out to our members. So with your support as a member, we can continue to create more videos like this. As I said earlier, we love creating content that gets you learning and answers your key questions. But the reality is that with censorship issues, we can't always just talk about anything. Some topics are a lot more controversial than others. Well, this is where you come in. First of all, I want to send a huge shout out and many thanks to our loyal viewers that have already signed up to be a member of our FTD Facts family. It is thanks to your dedication and generosity that we are able to keep the channel populated with the videos you love, even if they may be at times controversial. With that being said, if you're interested in becoming a member, we would love to have you. More information is available below in the description section for you. Just click that link. All right, I think we are all ready to move on and get through the second half of the facts for today's video. Coming in at fact number 5, we have accessibility to communications and technology. So communications in Afghanistan is under the control of the Ministry of Communications and Information Technology. It has rapidly expanded since late 2001 and is increased on the accessibility to wireless companies, the internet, radio stations, and television channels. The Afghan government signed a $64.5 million agreement in 2006 with China's ZTE on the establishment of a countrywide optical fiber cable network. The project began to improve telephone, internet, television, and radio broadcast services throughout Afghanistan. About 90% of the country's population had access to communication services as of 2014. According to the Ministry of Communication and Information Technology, there are 4,760 active towers throughout the country, which covers 85% of the population. The ministry plans to expand its services in remote parts of the country, where the remaining 15% of the population will be covered with the installation of 700 new towers. So yes, believe it or not, having a mobile phone is actually considered to be a status symbol for many. Next up, we're going to talk about democracy in Afghanistan. Well, yes, you may not have been aware, but since 1978, Afghanistan has been in a state of continuous internal conflict and foreign interventions. So it makes sense that having a stable and reliable form of government would have posed as a challenge. But surprisingly, in December of 2004, Mr. Hamid Karzai became the first ever democratically elected head of the state of Afghanistan. All right, coming in at number 3, we're talking about the poster boy of Afghan men. Perhaps the most surprising fact for me today is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is considered to be the poster boy for legions of young Afghan men. Photographs of a muscled Arnold in his prime hang from the walls of hundreds of bodybuilding centers across the country. Some Afghans say the action star turned US governor even looks like an Afghan. All right, and let's talk about how the family is essential to Afghan culture. In Afghanistan, men are typically laden with the responsibility of earning for the family, while women are expected to stay home and serve the family. However, in modern Afghanistan, you may also find some women working in the cities and earning a living for themselves and their families. In most cases, the family lives together in the same house. Even upon marriage, the son and his wife live separately in a different room, but still in the family home. So we can see here that the bond of family is so strong that even after marriage, newlyweds are happy to live amongst the rest of the family. Although many other global countries have this same cultural practice, this is quite different than the Western tradition of moving out of the family home and starting a new life in a new home as a married couple. And coming in at number 1, we're going to be talking about the religion of Islam. Now, you might be surprised to find out that the history of Islam in Afghanistan is quite detailed and thoroughly documented. Literally, it would probably take me a lot of time to read through all of the details. However, for the simple purposes of this video today, I'm not going to go into the specific details of how Islam was introduced to Afghanistan. However, what I did find interesting was the belief that Arab Muslims spread the religion of Islam in Afghanistan around 642 CE in Herat and Zarang. At the time, they recognized Afghanistan as Al-Hind due to the country's proximity to India. Alright, FTD Facts family, this brings us to the end of our video exploring 10 more interesting facts about Afghanistan. If you enjoyed this video, we have so many more videos for you about Afghanistan, but also about so many other highly engaging topics as well. Don't believe me? Well, see for yourself. I've posted some video links and suggestions for you below in the description section. Be sure to check them out and let us know what you think. As always, don't forget to show the love by liking and commenting on our videos and subscribing to our channel. We love hearing from you. Your positive support is always appreciated, and FTD Facts just couldn't do this without you. All right, friends, that's a wrap. I'm gonna go get started on some of our next videos for you, and well, you should probably, no, definitely check out some more of our videos to get a real sense of all that the channel has to offer. We'll see you right here on FTD Facts next time. Bye.